The 12th Annual World Congress on Industrial Biotechnology, the world's largest industrial biotechnology event, is returning to beautiful Montreal, Canada in 2015. The Bio World Congress, linking chemistry, agriculture, and biotechnology to develop new value chains. So mark your calendar now for July 19 to 22nd, because this is the one event you cannot afford to miss. Join over 1,000 other high-level attendees from 700 companies and over 40 countries.
So, we work with all our clients, we encourage them to attend and to exhibit. We're exhibiting ourselves in 2014 for the second time. I'm sure that we'll be back in Montreal, and the Bio World Congress really is the event in the industry.
Top business executives, world-class scientists, biotech investors, and government policymakers, all stakeholders in building a vibrant, sustainable, bio-based economy.
Yes, we are excited about going to Montreal. It's a wonderful city. It has many great attractions. They're very supportive of life science conferences. It will be in the summer. It's going to be beautiful, so people can do business and also enjoy all the things that Montreal has to offer. So yes, we're very excited about next year.
The 2015 World Congress will feature 5 high-level plenary sessions and 8 breakout tracks, an exciting exhibit hall, and clean tech investor sessions, presentation of the prestigious George Washington Carver Award, and more than 1,000 one-on-one partnering meetings.
There's hundreds of companies here partnering. The partnering rooms, one-on-one here, I think we've had 40 meetings in 2.5 days on one-on-one meetings, and out of those 40 meetings, I'd say at least half are fruitful.
The 12th Annual World Congress on Industrial Biotechnology in Montreal. A great once-a-year opportunity to take your program to the next level.
Welcome to Washington Week in Review. I'm Sarah Gonzalez, Associate Editor of the Agri-Pulse, and we're here with Phil Brasher, Senior Editor. We're here to review the week in Washington, and there's plenty to go over, especially today. We are filming on a Friday afternoon, immediately after the House voted on a trade promotion authority, but the story isn't over yet. Phil, can you explain what happened here today?
An amazing day, as much drama as we've had around here in quite a while. The Republican leadership scheduled 2 votes on the trade legislation. Both of them had to pass in order for this bill to go to the White House for President Obama's signature. The first vote, which was the one that really was most in doubt and wound up going down, was on an extension of what's called trade adjustment assistance. These are programs that help businesses and farmers and workers who've been harmed by imports. And it's a priority for Democrats to get this extended beyond September 30th when these programs are scheduled to expire. President Obama made a last-minute trip to the Capitol this morning to appeal to Democrats who don't like his trade policy and don't like the overall legislation to vote for the trade adjustment assistance, even though they don't like the rest of the bill, because he knew that opponents, labor unions of the overall legislation, were willing to kill the trade adjustment assistance in order to stop the entire legislation. Despite this plea, Democrats brushed it aside, including the minority leader, Nancy Pelosi, and only 40 Democrats voted for trade adjustment assistance, and it wound up getting only 86 Republicans. Republicans generally don't like trade adjustment assistance, and so only 126 votes means that the legislation as a whole can't go anywhere. Now, Republicans went ahead and held a vote on the rest of the bill, and that's sets up the fast-track process for approving trade agreements. It passed 219 to 211, so now they've got to go back and have somehow figure out a way to pass the trade adjustment assistance.
So what happens next? What's the schedule for?
Well, Republicans have said they'll have a vote Monday or Tuesday. It would seem most likely Tuesday, again, on the trade adjustment assistance, but they didn't say today what they were going to do to get those extra votes. They only have 126. They're going to need at least 80 or 90 more, and including presumably a lot of Democrats. So stay tuned.
Okay, well, we'll have to watch and see what happens. Also this week in the House that passed several other bills important to agriculture, including one to repeal mandatory country of origin labeling. Phil, can you break that down for us a little bit? Did that go as expected?
Yes. In fact, the chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, Mike Conaway, had told us a couple of weeks ago that he hoped to get as many as 300 votes for repealing country of origin labeling, because he wanted to send a signal to the Senate that there was tremendous support for just eliminating the law because of the decision against it by the World Trade Organization. He wound up getting exactly 300 votes, and so now it's in the hands of the Senate, and we'll see what they're going to do. The chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, Pat Roberts, has been talking to his colleagues, trying to reach some consensus, but doesn't have one so far.
Okay, and also another contentious issue for agriculture, there was some action on the Obama administration's Waters of the U.S. rule under the Clean Water Act. I believe a Senate committee passed something that would repeal that rule as well.
Right. Senate Environment and Public Works Committee approved a bill that would repeal the rule and then set a number of requirements on, or set a number of limits actually, on what could be covered by a new rule. The House has passed a bill like this, but it didn't have a veto-proof majority, and it's questionable how far this bill will get coming out of the Senate as well. Might get 60 votes, enough to overcome a Democratic filibuster, but it seems pretty unlikely it would get the 67 that would be needed to overcome a veto. At the almost at the exact same time this was happening, the House Appropriations Committee started bringing out another bill that funds the EPA that includes a provision that would actually prevent the administration from carrying out the new rule, implementing the new rule, although it doesn't actually kill it. That's the more likely measure to become law, but there's a long way to go even for that.
Okay, and it was still a more busy week than that. There were a couple other bills that had action in the House this week, right?
Right. It was a big week for the House Agriculture Committee, because not only did the House pass the repeal of country of origin labeling, they also passed a bill to reauthorize the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Most importantly, it would roll back some Dodd-Frank rules. That bill doesn't have much of a future in the Senate the way it is, because Democrats really want to protect Dodd-Frank. A couple of other bills that do have a very good future in the Senate. One would reauthorize grain inspection standards, and it sets up a process to make sure that the inspections continue even during a labor dispute. And a second bill that also passed the House and will probably eventually pass the Senate as well would reauthorize mandatory livestock price reporting. And similarly to the grain inspection bill, it contains some language that would ensure that the price reporting goes on even when the government shuts down, which is something the reporting system was disrupted the last time we had a shutdown.
Okay, Phil, well, thank you so much for that breakdown. There's a lot to go over. And thank you for watching. This has been the Washington Week in Review for Agri-Pulse.